This is a great mobility yoga exercise that can be used at the beginning of a workout or as part of a strength routine. We're working on a few important things here: thoracic mobility in the upper back and shoulders, hip and hip flexor stretching, controlled stack motions and movements, and also ski specific balance. So there are a few parts that you can put into a full routine. We'll start with part one. We have Erica here demonstrating. This is just a back squat with thoracic stretch. So your hands are completely straight, stretched out above your head, past your ears, and you're trying to squat down while still keeping your back high. A lot of people will definitely feel this behind the shoulders. Some people might even have a hard time keeping their arms straight. The idea is to keep the back pretty straight, sink down, have good flexion in the shins and ankles, work on that squat while using a thoracic stretch in the back. Part two, we start with that same thoracic back squat and then drop down and repeat several times. This helps get the blood moving. It also helps loosen up the hips. With all the motions in this routine, we want to think about being stacked, so keeping the knees and the feet and the hips all aligned. Part three, start with our thoracic back squat and then drop down into a hip flexor stretch and then into a forward hip stretch. Next, move your foot to the middle of the mat, and with balance, stand back up and repeat on both sides. Hip flexor stretch, drop down. The second hip stretch, you should feel more in the front of your hip and in the inside of your legs. And then again, stand back up, thoracic squat. Part four, we're going to add in a few more motions, a few movements. Drop down with a squat, back into the hip flexor stretch, down into the forward hip stretch. Move the foot to the middle of the mat. This time, raise the arms above the head, hip flexor stretch, and then with balance, stand up into a split squat. 3 split squats, keeping the back straight, raising the arms above the head each time. Next, stand forward into an airplane or a single leg balancing drill into 3 cross-country ski strides. Back into the thoracic squat and up. So that's the whole routine. Again, from the front, drop down into the hip flexor stretch, forward hip stretch, move the foot to the middle of the mat, arms above the head, reaching tall, stand up into 3 balanced split squats. Again, this is why we call it stacked yoga. We want to see the knees stacked above the feet and the hips. Everything should be in line, even during the tricky balancing part onto a single leg. And then 3 classic strides, keeping everything balanced, engaging the core, and using ski-specific motions. Repeat this routine several times on each leg.